Hi guys, and welcome to the Basic Latina Podcast, an intimate conversation with friends about love, life, wellness, and everything in between. I'm really excited about today's episode. I'm sitting down with Luvena Leslie, the DevaCurl expert, everyone's favorite curly enthusiast, salon, scissor crazy, everyone, all those things. Yeah. And you are the owner of Connecticut Curly Hair Salon.
Yep, Luvena Leslie Salon.
Luvena Leslie Salon. Yeah. Okay. So that's how it is on Instagram, Connecticut Curly?
No, Instagram it's Curly Hair Salon. And the reason it's Curly Hair Salon is because if people saw Luvena Leslie Salon, they wouldn't know that I specialize in curly hair. Unless they happen to go look at the pictures. And so the Curly Hair Salon is so that people will actually go look.
Oh, yeah, because if you like Google, like if you go on Instagram and go like curly salons, exactly, yours will come up.
It will.
Ooh, and so...
Well, in the hashtags.
In the hashtags. Are you the only DevaCurl, not stylist, but like salon?
So I am not. I am the only salon that I'm the only salon that does only curls. So I only do curly hair salon. There are other salons, there are other stylists who are DevaCurl certified. In the state of Connecticut.
Right.
But I only do curly hair. So that's what makes me different.
And so you won't straighten anyone's hair?
No. Except my daughter's. Because she's 15.
So this salon functions with the assumption that you're going to come here, you're going to get your hair cut usually dry, right?
Yes.
Curly.
Oh, yes.
So I came here probably a couple of weeks ago. My hair looks crazy right now because I took a nap before.
Good for you. I'm jealous.
But it's in a pineapple, and I'm still struggling with my hair because I'm trying to transition it to winter. Right. And so I definitely want us to talk about that because I think all of us are probably wondering. And by this time this airs, it will be wintertime. So I came and saw Luvena. I had been following her for a while, and then the first curl brunch happened at the place to be. And it was really, really cute, very intimate. All these beautiful women, beautiful curls, and I saw Luvena working her magic on someone, and I was like, oh yeah, I want that. So if you ever come and see Luvena, she, everyone's hair is different. I came and wanted like bangs, and she was just like, it's not gonna work. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sad. But she knows what's best in terms of how it's gonna look. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Luvena. Other than, owning this beautiful salon, what else do you do?
So, my first job is I'm a mom. I'm a mom and a wife, and so I only work 3 full days a week. So when I'm here, I do work a lot. I work 10 in the morning till 8 at night, or 7 a.m. in the morning on Saturdays till 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock. But the rest of the other days I'm home. I am taking care of my children. I'm working out. I work out 5 times a week.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you see like a trainer? Or do you have a regimen?
No, I do weights. I lift weights for about 20-25 minutes, and then I do the Stairmaster for about 22 minutes.
I love that.
Yeah.
That seems very I know that seems very I don't know, synchronized. Yeah. I love that.
So I do that Monday through Friday after I get my kids to school. My favorite thing in the world is Jesus. I'm a Jesus lover.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I go to church as often as I can with my small children.
Yeah.
But that's really all that I do besides...
And you're a mother of 2.
So, no, I have 3 children. I have 3 biological children. I have a 15-year-old that we talked about. Yeah. I've got a 4-year-old, and I've got a 3-year-old with Down syndrome.
Oh, yes, you were talking about her. Yeah.
And then I have 2 stepchildren. I have
a big house.
Almost 16-year-old. An almost 10-year-old stepchild.
Oh my God, that must be so fun to have all this, like this big old family.
It is.
How are the holidays in your house? Do you guys have them at your house or somebody else's house?
It depends, like every other, because we got to share them with their mom.
Oh, yeah.
So it depends. Last year we had everybody together and it was great. We watched a movie that I fell asleep on, but it was nice to have everybody together.
Do you usually fall asleep during movies?
Every movie.
Get out of here.
Yes, I can't stay awake. The last movie that I stayed awake for was Girls Trip. Remember?
Oh, Girls Trip was so good.
Yes.
That's a good movie to stay awake during.
But other than that, I take my son to see movies and literally, and it doesn't matter if it's 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. I am falling asleep during the movie.
That is so funny. So no movie going for you.
No. My husband has wasted so much money in taking me to the movies. I'm serious.
And now you just don't even bother, like...
No, I do go.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to go see Bad Moms now, you know?
Oh, Bad Moms Christmas? That one
Bad
looks
Moms
good.
Christmas.
Before I came here, you were telling me about how you spent, like, the day, like, shopping and stuff like that. That's your self-care that you don't really get to do often?
Right. No, I don't. I hardly ever get to buy myself clothes because I'm always thinking about my children. So if I'll see that my son has no pajamas, so I'm like, oh my gosh, Tuesday I got to go get him some pajamas. And so I never think about myself. And I need
Which
things.
Is such a thing that women and moms do.
It's so true. And and the thing is just like, they always say on the airplane, you can't, take care of yourself before you take care of others, because you can only give so much until you gotta get back. And I mean, clothes are just
right.
And clothes are good for the outside, but we need things like massages and just quiet time, just some me time. Like I said, Bad Moms. I think I'm gonna go by myself. And
that would be nice.
Yeah, just sit in the theater and grab some popcorn and just be alone for a little bit.
I went to the movies by myself Sunday because I was like feeling really sad and stuff. And I went to go watch The Murder on Orient Express because I'm weird and I watch scary movies by myself.
Not me. I don't watch scary movies at all.
And it wasn't even scary. It's when like the board game Clue.
Yes.
It's kind of like that where like everyone's on a train and somebody gets murdered and it's like a whodunit kind of thing.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. I had like horrible reviews, but I like those type of movies. Right. So I love going to the movies by myself. And it was just me. Because it was like 2 o'clock on a Sunday.
And nobody else was in the theater?
No. And I was like, oh my God, this is so nice.
It's a little spooky.
I know. And I like snuck, I felt like I was like royalty because I like snuck in Taco Bell. And I was like, yes. I had my feet up. I like thought I was someone else.
I love it.
Oh man, so Luvena, I wanted to interview you today because I think, you're so unique in that you said that you only do curls at your salon.
Right.
Which is amazing. There's a lot of other DevaCurl specialists in Connecticut that I know of, but you're a woman of color as well. And when I saw like how you looked and your hair texture, I was just like, ooh, that's amazing. Because every single DevaCurl specialist that I know has like wavy hair and they're white. And I'm just like, why are there so many white DevaCurl specialists? So I didn't understand that. And at first I was just like, I'm skeptical. I've always been skeptical to use DevaCurl products because I would just see white women on the bottles or white women being advertised and all the DevaCurl bloggers, they're like, this lady slayed my hair and she's white. And I'm just like, I'm half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, and people have always had an issue with my hair. And so I don't want nobody touching it. And so I want to kind of start from the beginning and figure out, why this salon? Why did you decide to kind of focus on curls and particular textures over others?
And it's really funny that you said that about DevaCurl because when I first, and I'll tell you how I got into DevaCurl. Yeah. When I first got into DevaCurl, it was mostly white people using it, and I personally, I worked at a salon that's where I first got into the whole curls. It's in New Haven. Okay. And so I wasn't buying into it, right?
Even so you always wanted to do salon, like you always wanted to cut hair and do hair.
Oh yeah. So I'll get that. We'll go over that in a minute. But
perfect.
So I would use the DevaCurl products on the clients, right? Okay. The clients that I would get at the salon. I would use them, tell them how great it was, and meanwhile, I would go home and use whatever I found on sale, literally. Like Pantene, it did not matter. I was like, oh, that's just a crock. Like, they're just trying to sell expensive shampoo because it's pricey.
If it is.
So, then when I opened my first salon 6 years ago, I use Mixed Chicks. I always use Mixed Chicks. That's my leave-in conditioner. That's what I use to style my hair. So I went into my salon to grab a bottle of Mixed Chicks, and I was like, you know what? This is my salon. Let me take some DevaCurl too. Like, why not, right? I need some shampoo and conditioner. I took it, and I have not gone and used any other shampoo. I mean, maybe tried another one in the last 6 years, like twice.
So when you opened your first salon 6 years ago is when you finally used DevaCurl?
Yes. And I was already working for somebody for 3 years, and that's all we used was DevaCurl.
But you never used it on yourself.
Other people would wash my hair in the salon, but it's different. Like, because I didn't feel what it felt like after I washed it. Right, you know, because I was like, whatever, my hair is washed, no big deal. Right. But now, I mean, listen, my kids we only used it. My husband, He had locks. He had locks for like he just cut his locks off and always only DevaCurl. Like so he'll be like, babe, like I need some No-Poo or some one condition. I'm like, okay, honey, I'll get you some.
Right.
But so that was that. But DevaCurl, what's interesting is that I really do think they have the best shampoo and conditioner on the market. I mean, granted, I am biased. I don't use anybody else's shampoo and conditioner, but I really think they are the best.
Right.
They're so moisturizing and I don't know, like your hair feels great even after you wash it. Yeah. And that's a big deal. But DevaCurl, when they first started,
you're talking about all the lines Decadent and the original.
Yeah, so I started with the original. Decadence only came out a year.
Oh, is it only a year? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But what's interesting is when Decadence came out, they must have had a change in ownership, management sort of thing. Because before then, you only saw white girls on their advertising. You only saw white girls on the marketing. Decadence came out because somebody, they must have put somebody in place in that company that realized they were missing out on all these girls going natural. Right. And so then they put Decadence out, and then now there's color. Now there's color all over. And it's brilliant because they were missing out on all these dollars. And I mean, granted, there were brown girls trying the Decadence, but it wasn't as many who were going to try it if they didn't see somebody who looked like them.
Absolutely.
Right. So back to how I started to do hair. I've always done hair. All my life, I grew up with a white mom, black dad, and my mom refused to touch hair grease, and my dad was like the complete opposite. He would grease us up and comb our hair with the Afro comb, but like from the roots, you know. He would, and it hurt so bad. But you know, God gifted my hands, so I learned early, and I have two sisters, so I would do their hair, and then eventually I would do my mom's hair, and then I didn't go to college. I wish I did go to college, but I didn't end up going to college, and but when I was about 25, I already had my daughter. She must have been 3 or 4 years old. And I was working in sales, and I was making really great money. But I really felt what I was doing was subprime lending. And I was putting people in really high second mortgages. And like even refinancing their first mortgages because they just didn't know any better. And I didn't really feel good about it. I thought like, yeah, I make great money, but at people's expense. I'm doing this at, you know, putting people in bad situations. And I'm missing my daughter all day long. For money, you know, for money. And so I prayed and I said, God, I need you to show me what to do with my life. Like, what'd you put me here for? Because obviously there's a purpose for my life. And in little ways, he showed me what I was supposed to be doing. Not like, you know, there was no like sign in the sky, but it would just be through different people. Like I'd be talking to a friend and she'd say, oh, hey, can you do my hair for such and such a day? Or I'd see a commercial for it. Just so many signs made me feel like, oh, that's the direction that I'm supposed to be going. And when I went in that direction, all the doors opened. Like I got the financial aid. I moved down south to Charlotte because I wanted to move. I wanted to go away and go away like as if I'd gone to college, like move out of state and have that experience. I had a house here and I sold my house within like a short time period. And so every door opened for me, so I went and I loved it. And
what made you go to Charlotte as opposed to like anywhere else?
Because everybody I know that's moved to Charlotte doesn't come back.
And you don't want to come back.
And I didn't want to come back.
And Charlotte is beautiful. I love Charlotte.
It is. It's so wonderful. I want to go back. But my husband he thinks that it's like the country. And it's just as city as New Haven.
Yeah, it totally is a city, yeah.
It is, but he doesn't doesn't believe it.
Has he visited?
No, but he doesn't believe it.
You gotta convince him.
Yeah. And so then I went to Charlotte. I finished hair school there, but I had my daughter. She was 5 by that time, and she really wanted to be with her family. And we had nobody there. So I moved back to Connecticut. I worked at one salon for a short period of time. I worked at another salon for a short period of time. Then I worked downtown at Joe Bruno Hair. That's where I got into curly hair. And what's interesting about how I got that job is my sister had my laptop. And I told her, oh, I need a job. You know, I need more hours. And she forwarded my resume, like from her email that said, like, you really need to give my sister... Like, my sister would be a great asset to your salon. And I was thinking, like, who even interviews somebody whose sister sends them a resume? If somebody sent me their sister's resume, I'd be like, no. She should send her own resume. But they interviewed me, and I had a really great 3 years there. It was wonderful. They were great people to work for.
And they gave you the opportunity to do curly hair?
And they gave me the opportunity to do curly hair because the owner, she was... she had gotten into DevaCurl, I don't know how many years before, but many years before that. And then I went to DevaCurl and I got certified.
Is it like a whole thing? Is it like a DevaCurl Academy? That's what I think of.
They have like, no, it's the salon, but they have days that they do training. And so So I went there, I did my training, and then I came back to the salon, and, I learned, and I would bring in models, and I did a horrible job in the beginning, because
oh no,
it just takes, you gotta, get it, to be honest with you. That's how curly hair is just, you gotta have an epiphany with curly hair. You've gotta understand it and know that it is just, I don't know, I can't even describe it.
Yeah, it's so temperamental, and then it could be so simple.
Temperamental.
Yes.
It is. Yes. Even after you get a haircut, you realize after you get a haircut, you just have to wait for it to say, okay, I'm okay with this new haircut.
I know. I'm still trying to figure out my new cut since you gave it to me, which I loved the first 3 days when I washed it. I did it again, and then I had to leave, so I put it in a bonnet, and then it stayed in that shape. And so I've been trying to unshape it. It's just.
I know.
Yes, it's almost like you have to rewire your curls.
That's right. They eventually get used to it. I mean, I cut my own hair, and when I cut my hair, I have to stop looking at myself in the mirror because I want to cut more, and I'll say, oh, what about this side, this side? Oh, I mean, I gotta cut this and cut the back, and it's really rough. So so I worked for Joe Bruno for 3 years, and then God blessed me with my own salon right around the corner from Joe Bruno. Nice. It was a salon that was already built, made, furnished.
Wow.
It was beautiful too. It was so beautiful.
And this is in New Haven.
Okay. Yeah. So I worked there for 3 years. No, 2.5 years. Then I had my youngest, the one who has Down syndrome, and she had health issues. She was born with a major heart defect. Only one side of her heart was working. Wow. So she had to have 2 open hearts. So she was struggling. She struggled for the first year and a half of her life. And so that's why I left Audubon Street, because I really couldn't manage a storefront and being there 5 days a week. I could only work when I could work. Yeah. So then I didn't want to stop. I love doing curly hair. So then I moved to a suite, and I worked there for 3 years. And then God gave me this opportunity to come here, and I've been here since September.
Wow. And so what made you move from a suite to here? Because this space is beautiful, and you're having a launch party.
Yeah, launch party.
So, did you just randomly find this place? Did you find that, my family's in a better place, I can now dedicate my time to be in a storefront again?
Well, it's funny that you'd ask that. I wanted to move because being in a shared space, you're in a shared space. So and I don't mind. I mean, I had great people that I shared the space with, but when it comes to heat, I like my heat how I like my heat.
Right.
My mute, whatever I want to listen to. And those are minor things, they really are, but they just make my day.
No, it's almost when you live at home as opposed to when you have a roommate or you live by yourself. You're just I want to rock around with no pants.
That's right.
And I want to have my oil diffuser. I don't care if you don't like the smell of lavender.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And so so the place I was renting a suite is down the street. It's literally a 5-minute drive. Okay. And I was driving by here, and I saw a sign in the window that said for rent, and I was like, oh, let me go check it out. And that was back in May, and he was ready to rent right away, and I didn't want to break my lease because my lease wasn't up until the end of August. Okay. So I said, this is a great place. I'll check back. If it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, it's okay. I'll find my place. And what's interesting about you asking about why I decided to come here and leave a suite situation, because the suite situation is sweet. Really, you don't pay utilities. You just go in and you pay a weekly rent, and everything is taken care of, right? So you're not worrying about parking. Really, you're not worrying about water, gas, electric, nothing.
Right.
Everything is taken care of.
Right.
But I said to myself, I want to grow, right? I want to grow. So here I am, 2.5 months in. I don't know how much growing I have an assistant, so that's some growth. I don't know
how many clients were you seeing at a suite?
Well, I could see as many as I could see here.
Oh,
I just wasn't having any big. Yeah, it was a good size space.
Okay.
But I think I failed to remember that my kids are still my first priority, whether I'm in a suite or whether I am in my own location. And so I guess I thought that I'd have more time to give to this place, but I don't have as much time as I thought I'd have to give. But I'm going to start training people. I want to get a few. My goal is to eventually have about 4 to 5 stylists.
Wow.
Working different schedules, and they're not going to be here at the same time.
Right.
So that they can, take care of clients, and then it can be open on days that I'm not available. But that's where I want to get with it, but it's still so hard. My youngest had her tonsils out last week, so that takes some of my time, and my days off. I've got a grocery shop, or I really thought that I'd be here, I'll be at work, but
and it's just you and your assistant from when last spoke.
And I have a stylist. I think I told you about her.
Oh yes,
she comes in, Jill. She comes in whenever she has somebody.
Oh,
so like
okay.
once a week or once every other week.
But you're a hot commodity, so people want to see you.
I know.
Is that a problem?
It's not yet.
Okay.
But when I hire stylists, then I'm gonna have to be creative about how I get them clients. But I will.
Yeah,
I'll get them clients.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe if Jill or another stylist is here while you're also like cutting somebody's hair, so you can start like introducing people. To the stylist or something.
Absolutely.
I know you said you want to grow your salon, so you want to have like 4 or 5 stylists here. Do you have a preference? Do you want to like mentor like women of color to become DevaCurl stylists? Like, what do you kind of envision your salon to look?
So I just again only curly hair.
Only curly hair.
Yeah. So I only do curly hair. What I envision is getting a color master, somebody who's a master at color.
Okay.
I also envision getting somebody who can do like other natural styles like locks and like twist outs and braid outs, for people who don't want to just wear a wash and go, because there's lots of people who don't want to wear wash and goes.
Right.
And just really having a variety of schedules. So, I mean, all but Sunday, but being available maybe, Monday through Saturday, having somebody always available.
Right. Having someone here every single day at least.
That's
one
right.
person.
That's right. Not me, because like I said, I really want to continue to dedicate my life to my kids and my family.
And because ideally, when you become the owner of a salon, it's almost like you see the owner less. Like even if as a owner, you seem like the kind of person that likes to kind of be like on the ground, so you want to see your clients and stuff. But eventually, you want to be like kicked back and like be at home,
right? And
being able to manage the salon from at home and stuff, right?
Right. And that's true, but I don't know how feasible that is, because I don't know. I was talking to a man the other day. There's this guy who lives around the corner. His wife does my tailoring, like my seamstress. My daughter needed her dress tailored, and he said he owned a few stores for many years in Fairhaven, which is a neighborhood that's right here. Yeah. And he said his employees stole from him all the time. He said they always stole from me. He said they stole money, they stole lottery tickets. They are always stealing, like always.
Oh my God.
Right. And so I feel like it's so hard to trust people with your business. Yeah. Which is why, as an owner, you got to figure out how you can be there. I mean, you can always put up cameras, but at the end of the day, I think any business the owner has to be really involved. So even if I'm here just doing paperwork,
right, but sitting here and having a presence.
But sitting here and having a presence. Yeah. Or having my daughter here, or having my son here, or having somebody here who is a representative of me. Yeah. So that, I mean, it's not like people can steal haircuts, because they're not going to steal a haircut per se. Right. But there's always, and I try to have a relaxing environment where, nobody's feeling like, oh, she's watching me too hard, because, I mean, who wants to have that kind of environment?
Exactly. And, it's so interesting that, every curly hair salon, even if they're mixed in terms of they might be white people doing my hair, black people, it's so different than from like a regular like Dominican like hair salon where like they're playing loud music and there's like a stylist in every chair and there's like people waiting in line. What is it you think that's unique about those salons that are like the hood, like typical salons, as opposed to like curly hair salons?
But those salons are making money. That's what's going on with those salons. They are making money.
I know, but it's like
a lot of it too.
They burn your hair.
Yeah, they do, but they are making, like you said, there's stylists in every chair, and there are people waiting, right? So they're making a lot of money
because they do that good blowout, girl.
You don't have a curl on your head.
Lasts you a month.
So I guess I'd say the difference between I feel like my environment here is it's a welcoming environment. I feel like
it's relaxed.
Yeah, it's relaxed. I I keep on my Christian music because it keeps me in a really good place, and I'm here all day long, so I need to always be in a good place. And the other thing, I'm having my website redone, and I need to talk to the guy who's doing it. But the best thing about this place is that when people come in the door, they see other people who have curly hair. Oh, right. Yeah. And so they're not like, because they'll tell me, oh, I've gone to such and such place, and they say, oh, I need you to straighten your hair before you come in, or like, oh, what do you want to do? And they just don't see anyone who looks like them. And I think that's why I get a lot of children, is because these parents are like, oh, she looks like you. And I don't necessarily look like them. Right. But I've got kinkier hair. And so it's like, look at it. She's a a businesswoman in society, and she wears her hair like your hair. And so you could do it too.
And I think you hit it right on the nail on the head, because my mom, she's Dominican, and she has your hair texture, probably a little tighter, and she has a fro, and she'll always want me to take her to these Dominican hair salons in Hartford, and they'll straight out tell her, like, oh, I don't know how to do your hair. And she leaves there, like, shamed. And she always ends up, like, cutting her hair down to almost where she's bald, because she doesn't know how to manage her curls. And it's so sad, because it's like, I'm glad that DevaCurl and Shea Moisture and just, like, all of these brands and all these beauty bloggers are just putting curls, like, that's, like, the thing now. To wear your hair natural. Everybody's going natural. No one wants the creamy crack. Like, all that stuff. Right. Because it really is, like, a culture where you feel included. Yeah, you might have a white woman cutting your hair if you go to a DevaCurl salon, but it's like you might go to a Dominican hair salon and they'll fry your hair. Maybe it looks perfect, but or you might not feel welcome. And I think that's the difference, right? Right. You come here and you feel welcome.
That's right. And I didn't answer your question before about what my vision looks like.
Oh, okay.
For curly hair, but when I train my clients, my stylists, when I train my assistant, right, I train them to be an extension of me, right? So even if I hire a white girl with wavy hair, she will have full capabilities to do curly hair. And the thing is, I think for the most part, my clients trust me. And if I say, this is Julie Amneris, and she's going to do your hair today, and you're going to look at Julie, and I'm going to be like, trust me, Julie's amazing. Julie just did my haircut. Right? And so you'll be like, okay, Luvena said that Julie's amazing, and I'm going to trust Luvena, because Luvena would not just give me somebody who's not going to do a good job, because then I'm going to lose you ultimately as a client. So the goal is...
And your name is on that.
Exactly.
That haircut.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether I did it or Julie did it. So my goal is to get people who just really want to do curly hair, who, for whatever reason, have a passion for it, like the fact that it's in, or they like it because it's fun to do. It's really fun to do.
Yeah, and it's such a huge. Would you say that there's a lot of you're getting a lot of women from all parts of Connecticut or New Haven or?
Oh yeah, I get people from all over Connecticut. I'd say a lot of my girls come from the 860 area.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them. I'm really grateful for those Hartford girls. I've actually even considered opening another salon there.
Wow.
Yeah. But I got to get this one filled. But I really have. I've considered just 2, though. I don't want to do more than 2. Yeah. Just one here in New Haven and then one in Hartford.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But I do get a lot of girls from the Hartford area, and that's why I chose this location. That's why when I was looking to move, I didn't move away from 91, because I get so many people from Hartford area that I said I didn't want to make it difficult for you guys, because it's not that bad of a drive. Like 91 is easy. It's a straight ride. You're on and off the highway within minutes. Yep. And so that's truly one of the reasons, the major reason that I chose to stay around here.
It's a great location. I used to live in Middletown, and so I usually don't turn on my GPS until I'm past my exit of my old house, and then once I turned it on, it was I was 15 minutes away from here. So it's a really good location. I know a lot of people. Who want to get diva cuts, but they either don't want to drive all the way to New Haven, which is neither here nor there, because that's just the location of salon. But a lot of people are like, well, isn't it expensive? They have this notion that it's super expensive, and what I try to explain to people is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it goes by your length and how thick your hair is.
That's right. Okay. So my cuts start at $65, like yours was $65, and mostly they're $65. But and how do I say this? I mean, and yes, and people who have thicker hair and longer hair, they know that their hair is going to cost more money, because it's always cost more money their whole life. Right. I'm not the first one telling them that they have long hair or thick hair. Trust me that I'm not, unless they're 3. Right. And then in that case, their mom knows that they have long hair or thick hair. Right. But, the older I've gotten, and this is kind of off topic, the more I've realized just how money, although it is a tangible item, it's really a mindset about what money means to you, right? So to me, there was a time where $65 meant something to me, but at this point, it's really just not that big of a deal. So if I were, say I was going somewhere to buy a pair of shoes, and I'm like, oh, there's a pair of shoes for $60 and there's a pair of shoes for $100. What's the difference between $60 and $40? Right. it really is just how you see money and like what value it has to you and how valuable it is for you to look good. I mean, I have to be completely honest. I went to hair school in Charlotte, right? Mm-hmm. And I have friends who stayed in that area, who stayed in South Carolina, North Carolina, and those stylists are booked months in advance.
Wow.
Months. I'm not booked months in advance. Maybe a few weeks in advance, but not months in advance. And do you know why that is? Because people in Connecticut do not do their hair for the most part.
Really?
Yes, it's the same reason you'll see people walking out in pajamas. If you look around, people don't really do their hair.
They don't care about their appearance?
No, but if you go down south, North Carolina, South Carolina.
No, people are getting their hair ready for church.
Listen, they are getting their hair ready. I mean, they're getting their hair done very often.
Yes.
So
that's so interesting. I've never had someone point that out, but it's so true because, and it's just a little like off topic as well, but it's like when you are in college and you see people dressed up, like in Connecticut, all those campuses, they're dressed up in pajamas and slippers. I did it when I was in undergrad. Right. But then if you go maybe down south, they're dressed to the nines.
That's right.
Because maybe they go to a historically black college.
That's right.
Or there's a lot of pride in the South with like college football
That's
and
right.
fraternities and sororities. Right. So it's like a different culture.
It is. And
man.
so, like, I mean...
So I'm like, are you opening a salon in Charlotte?
No, I would love to. But if and so it's really funny that I am not as busy as like my friends who graduated with me at the same time. Like I said, they're so busy. But it is truly by the grace of God that my business stays open because I see some of my clients only once a year or twice a year, literally.
Do you ever get nervous?
No,
okay.
I mean, there was a time when I did get nervous, and I was like, well. Should I really do this?
Yeah.
I imagine anybody in business thinks that. So during slow times, it's like, oh my goodness, like, should I?
What's your busiest season or your slowest season, I should say?
Probably right after the holidays.
Is it slowest or busiest?
I'd say the slowest.
Oh, after the holidays is the slowest.
Yeah, because it's January, it's cold, people spent all their money on Christmas or Hanukkah.
I would think people would want like a new cut for the new year.
No.
But are you getting a lot of requests around the holidays for?
I do, yeah. So
cuts?
I have a lot. I'm very busy during these next few weeks, which I'm really grateful for. But I definitely have slow times. Like, and it's interesting, But when I do have slow times, I just say to myself, God wants you just to relax a little bit. You're going to, you're moving too much. And the other thing about me is that I've realized I don't do this for money, although it does help pay my bills. I'm not doing it for free. I love what I do. Like, I love what I do, and I'm so grateful for what I do. So it's not like, oh my gosh, like I need to make all this money. I'm just so grateful that I can come to work and leave my children, leave my husband, and come to work and enjoy.
To do something you love.
To do something I love. I love it.
That's amazing.
It's Do you know why I didn't get into hair when I was 18? Because somebody told me I should get into hair, but I did not think it was possible to get a job that would pay me any money,
right?
And that I would like it, right? I thought, like, how am I gonna like do hair
and that's gonna pay my bills
and pay my bills?
Right.
That's exactly what I thought. Had I known at 18, although I was so mouthy at 18 that I would have probably gotten fired from so many jobs.
Right.
I was mouthy in my first salon and second salon. But nobody told me that I could love what I do and earn a living. And I'm really grateful that, like my oldest daughter, I'm grateful that I'm an example for her because I had a babysitter once who was talking about her grandson. He worked at McDonald's. And she said, oh, he hates his job. And my daughter must have been 10 or 11 at the time. And she says, well, why does he work there? Like, to her, it was like a no-brainer. Like,
why would you work at a place that you don't like?
Why would you work at a place you don't like? And
I love that.
I said, wow, I'm so grateful that I taught her that you don't have to hate your job. And it's shown in her life because she was able to get a job this summer working at our church doing
nice.
At a camp. And she turned it down. She said, I do not want to work with children. I don't like working with children. And she turned down like $1,000. She could have made $1,000 for the summer. But she knew that she didn't like children and she wasn't going to be miserable for 6-7 hours a day just to make some money.
And your daughter just learned something that a lot of people not even at my age in their late 20s know.
It's true.
That, stay at it. People have no idea, or people, maybe they do. They just don't realize it. How much your job affects like your mental health.
Totally.
And being someplace that makes you miserable or you don't feel welcome. And that's amazing that you feel that here, whether you are rolling in the dough or not, you're like, oh, well, I'm happy to be here. Like, this is my stamp is on it. You walk in and it's your style and it's you written all over the walls. And, you know, do you ever, those moments where it's slow and stuff like that, do you feel like that's when, like, you're kind of, well, you're a faithful woman, you're a God-fearing woman, but do you, like, stay prayed up during those times? Like, oh, like, you know, I'm gonna pray and stay faithful and stay confident that God is, you know, He's got me, because it's a really slow time right now and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I do. I just say, well, this is where I am. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to leave. And I never think like, oh, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
I think like it's just slow, and I'm going to use this as a time to relax and to just, you know, run out to the store because I have a huge break between clients, or I'm going to go to a restaurant because there are days I don't get to eat, you know? So I'll say, oh, I have 2 hours. I'm going to run to D'Angelo's and sit down and eat a sub. You know?
Right, and not have to, like, eat at the desk and stuff.
Exactly.
That must be so nice.
It is nice.
You know what? And what helps you stay so, like, in such a positive mood? Because I think this is the third time we've met, or I've seen you. And you're so positive all the time. You're always smiling. And I swear, like, all the women that I know who are stress-free, like, have beautiful skin like you. So I am convinced that the secret to looking youthful and having clear skin is not being stressed out.
Right.
So what is it that you think allows you to kind of be this way where you're like, I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to, like, chill?
Well, you know, my faith in God is number one, because I truly believe that God is watching out for me, right? So when you know that God is watching out for you, and no matter what you go through, because I will go through hard times. I may go through a time where I don't even make enough money to pay my bills. But I just truly believe that in the end, God's going to take care of me. And I also am very thankful. You know, a lot of times you hear about, oh, gratitude this, gratitude that. And I don't ever just think of things to be grateful for, because I mean, some people do that, but that's not what I do. But I really am so thankful for all of my blessings. And not to compare myself to anybody, like somebody in a country who doesn't have any food, right? But I'm just so grateful that, like, I have on new boots right now, right?
Yes.
Like, before 11 o'clock this morning, I didn't have new boots. So I have new boots, and I was able to pay for them, and that's really
It's
great.
like the little things almost.
It's the little I am so grateful for the little things. I'm so very, very, very grateful for the little things. Like, my kids sleeping in their own bed, in their own room. When I think about refugees, right? Like, my heart breaks for refugees, and I think about that child who doesn't have their, like, safe space. Yeah. And I just thank God that, you know, my son is in his crib with his softie, his special blanket, right? Oh. He's in his crib, or my daughter's in her crib, and like at night when I sleep on the inside of the bed, there's a big tree, and the breeze is really great. And so I lay down at night and I look out this window, and the breeze is great, and I'm in my bed, and it's really something I'm so grateful for.
That's amazing.
I'm grateful when I wake up in the morning, and and let me tell you, my life hasn't always been easy, which is why I have a hard time with people who, you know, complain a lot about their lives. Even my daughter, like, I'll use her as an example. I dislike the victim mentality, because we're all victims, right? Like, I've lost my parents at a young age. You know, I was a single mother unexpectedly by the time my daughter was 3 months. You know, I struggled a lot when I was given the news that she would be born with Down syndrome. I struggled for a long time. You know, my marriage really struggled during that time. So it was like a year of hard times. Yeah. And, you know,
what kept you elevated during those times?
You know, because you know what I realized, like, you have to keep going, right? Life is for the living,
right? And it's like, whatever is going on, I still have to, like,
you still have to do stuff.
Yeah,
right.
And I feel like when you're, and I'm not a parent, but I'm sure that the moms, the dads, like, parents have, like, a whole different level of, like, you know what? As shitty as things are right now, I have to keep going, because who's going to take care of my children?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
You're absolutely right. I said that to my daughter. My daughter the other day, I forget what it was. I asked her to do something, or I needed her to do something. I'm having emotional problems right now. And I said, okay, so what if I said I'm having emotional problems? What if I said, oh, you know what? I'm having emotional problems. I can't go to work today. I said, then what? then who's gonna feed you? Who's gonna help pay your bills?
Right.
Then do we just become homeless because I have emotional problems?
Right.
No, because life goes on. You know, she said, but you're a mom, you can't do that.
Oh my God, that reminds me of that commercial. That have you seen the NyQuil commercial where it's like moms don't take a break because they're like the mom was sick and she went into the baby's crib and said, "I'm taking a day off. I'm sick."
Right.
And the baby's looking at her like, "What are you talking about?" And it's like it's such an interesting concept that like, oh, take DayQuil because you can't take a day off because you're a parent. And that when I see that, I'm like, that's so sad, but it's so true.
It's so true. It is so true.
I have sorry to interrupt you, but I have a coworker that, you know, this keeps coming up where I have people around me that are parents, and I'm just like, how was your weekend? Well, they'll ask me how my weekend was, and I'm like, I was here, I was there. I'm like, what did you do? I had a sick child, and they were throwing up all weekend. I had to cancel all my plans, and I'm like, I can't even imagine. That's right. Like, I'm in a weird place because I'm like single, no kids, and I try to be thankful when it comes to that because I could have been in a whole different situation where I can't be selfish. That's right. I can't go to the movies by myself.
That's right. And it's true. It's so nice to be able to do what you do. You know, my daughter, because she watches the kids sometimes, she hates it. And she's like, I'm never having children. And I'm so glad because I don't want her having kids anytime soon.
Right.
But it's a blessing also to not have children. You know, I have children, and I was talking to my sister today telling her how difficult it is because it's not about, yes, I missed out on sleep. My kids were up at 5 o'clock this morning, which means I'm up at 5 o'clock this morning. Mm-hmm. If my kids are up in the middle of the night, that means I'm up in the middle of the night. Right. But that's the smaller issue, although I do love naps. The bigger issue is worrying about somebody else's well-being, making sure they have all that they need, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So it's a big deal to take care of small people. Like, Absolutely. It's a huge responsibility.
And like you said, it's your first, that's your priority. That's like your first job. So yeah, you know, I'm interviewing you because you're Luvena and you own this beautiful hair salon, but it's like my first job and my most important job is what I do when I go home. That's right. When I clock in.
That's when I clock in.
Right, or when you never clock out.
You're telling the truth. Listen, that is where my real job is. Like, this is fun. My salon is fun. I love being here. I love talking to I have the best clients. I have the best clients ever. I'm not even kidding. I'm so grateful for the people that walk in my door. Yeah. They're kind. They're nice to talk to.
But I feel like whatever you put out is what you're going to get. And you put out, like, amazing energy.
Thank you.
So I would be very surprised if you got a client that was disgruntled and irritable. Because I feel like with your energy and your personality, that you would, like, elevate them. That you would kind of put them at ease. Because that's what I came here, and I'm always nervous when I go to a new place. We were just talking, chatting, like we were old friends. And I'm like, this is so nice.
Yeah. And every now and then I will get somebody who doesn't really, you know, we're not vibing. And I don't ever, that's a blessing that I always wanted, because when I worked for someone else, I had to just pretend I liked them, because I'd get in trouble. You know, if I said, oh gosh, you know, Lucy's coming in today, I don't want to see Lucy. Well, the boss would be like, I don't care. You better fix your face and make Lucy think you're happy to see her. Right. Whereas here, it's not often that I'll get somebody who I don't vibe with back. Right. Because I don't make them feel like I like them if I don't really like them. Exactly. Right? And it's not because I want to be mean. It's, first of all, it's really hard for me to pretend that I like somebody that I don't. I've always been that way. But second of all, it's doing them a disservice. You know, like if I don't like them and they obviously don't like me, why should they come back to me? I mean, I am a great hairstylist, but still, like, I mean, I put my hands on you, right? Like, I am transferring energy to you, whether people believe it or not.
But that's a real thing.
It's a real thing. I am touching you. I am, like I said, transferring my energy, right? Do you want me transferring negative energy to you? It's the same way my husband, if I cook, and it hasn't happened in years, but if my husband and I are arguing in the middle of me cooking, he will not eat my food.
I always say, like, if I'm pissed and I'm cooking, I'm like, this food was not made with love.
That's what he says. This wasn't made with love.
Yes, I always say that. This food was not made with love, so it's not going to be good. Or, like, I don't even want to finish cooking this because it's going to taste gross. Yeah.
And that's true. And that's the same way. So when I'm touching you and I'm, you know, putting my hands on you and putting my energy into your hair, into your scalp, do you want me touching you if it's not love? You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want me touching you. You don't want me, like, you don't want people putting their energy on you. And so it's a real thing. Like, it's a real thing.
It is. And people who don't believe it, I mean, it is.
It is.
Have you, you've worked in 4 salons?
Before myself? Before my own?
Yeah, before your three.
Three.
Okay.
Before my own.
So, were there any hardships in particular because you were one of color that you saw as you were kind of, climbing up the ladder to your own salon?
So the first salon I worked at, I don't think so. I was probably the only person of color at that salon. I just didn't like it because, I don't know, I didn't like the way the head stylist talked to me one day. And I was just like, I don't like this.
Right. I'm not going to do this. Right.
Yeah, no, so actually there were 4 that I worked at before my own. Then another one, I liked it. But we had a disagreement and then I left. And then my third one was really nice. I really liked working for her, but she just wasn't giving me enough hours, which is why I was looking for a 4th job, like my next job. And then when I told her that I had a next job, she really tried to up everything. Like, I'll give you more.
Right.
But I prayed and asked God to guide me, and so that's when I ended up going to Joe Bruno. And like I said, it was a great job that I worked at. I was the only person of color.
Which is so funny to be like in a curly world and be the only person of color. That's so weird.
I was the only person of color, but they never made me feel
good.
They never made me feel like I was, they were nice to me. Like I said, it was a great place to work. And I even told the owner when I first started, because I always knew that I'd want to be on my own. I said, listen, I'm going to stay here for 5 years. I'll give you 5 years and then I'm going on my own. Because I will not work for anybody else. Because it was a great environment. Like, why would I go work for someone else? Right. If I'm going to go leave, I'm going to go leave for myself. Right. I ended up leaving in 3 years because the opportunity presented itself. Okay. But it was a really great time working there, Yeah. I just...
No, I'm happy to hear that. I feel like we don't hear a lot of stories where, we feel safe and secure in spaces that don't look like us. And so that's amazing. I do want to get into some tips for our curl friends that are listening.
Totally.
So first, I have to ask you, Luvena, because your skin is beautiful, and I'm like obsessed with people's skin because I have so many skin issues. What do you use on your skin? If you tell me nothing, I'm gonna be so upset.
I don't even want to tell you nothing, but I don't use anything on my skin.
Oh my God! No! I don't. So this is genetics.
This is genetics. And it's funny because I really do think I need to start working on my skin. I reached out to one of my clients recently and asked her, like, what do you do? Like, I've been talking to my clients who do, like, big-time things, like microdermabrasion, chemical peels. Wow. Those things, because they really work. Like, and because these women that I'm talking about...
Your face is, No, okay.
You
would know better because...
We're our biggest critic, right?
That's true.
Listen, when I was younger, I had, like, 4 or 5 pimples, and I swore I needed Proactive.
Like, you have no makeup on right now, and the listeners are not going to see this. But it's like, oh my God. Like, when you first came in, the lighting in here is not, does not forgive. So,
it's not forgiving.
When I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty without her makeup on.
Thanks. Thank you.
So you use nothing.
I use nothing.
And now I like you a little less.
Sorry.
No, that's great. It is genetics.
It's totally genetic.
Okay. And that's how your daughter is too, in terms of like, how is your daughter in terms of like skincare and hair care and?
So she straightens her hair. She doesn't relax, but she straightens her hair.
Okay.
Because that's how she likes it. And then
she only lets you touch her hair.
She only does her own hair.
Really?
Yeah, she's 15.
Oh, okay.
She flattens her own hair. And then for her skincare, whenever she's getting breakouts, then she'll start using like the black soap. Have you tried the black soap, the African black soap?
I've tried it at different points, but I might have to try it again.
Yeah, so we've ever since the Dove commercial.
Oh yes, let's address the Dove commercial.
Ever since the Dove commercial, we've switched over to the African black soap. And the truth of the matter is that. I wasn't really offended about the Dove commercial, although it was, I could see why it was offensive.
Yeah.
But we're trying to just be more natural in our house, and so that's the reason we switched over to the black soap.
No, I love that. And there's actually a podcast that I'm listening to right now. It's called Food Heaven Show, and it's a Dominican girl and a black girl. They're both vegetarian, and they talk about eating healthy and working out, but they also talk about natural products and things that we're ingesting.
Right.
And I listened to like 4 episodes so far, and I'm already like, I'm going to get natural deodorant. I'm going to make sure I look at the bottles of things that I'm buying. Right. I'm trying to switch over. In terms of my hair, everything is natural, but I'm trying to switch over to completely natural, like, body care products. Yes. But it's so hard because...
Like, coconut oil, which doesn't really work so well in the winter, so that's when you gotta get the shea butter.
Yes, I realized that coconut oil is not that...
No. In the summer, it works.
Yeah.
Right, but in the winter, it just dries out real fast, so you need like the shea butter. The only issue with the shea butter is it's so hard to spread. So like what I would do is like take my blow dryer and like melt it a little and then
I know, but why can't shea butter be like coconut oil where it like...
I know. It's so thick.
It's so funny. Another person that I'm obsessed with her skincare is Gabby. So I was like, what are you doing to her? You know that she uses coconut oil as a wash, and then like a hot towel to wash it off, and then shea butter with turmeric
for moisture.
The
Why the turmeric? Inflammation.
Yes, and scarring. Yes, so
but
you can
orange.
only get. Yes. Right?
It is. I'm saying it's orange.
Yeah, it's orange. Yeah.
Okay.
That's but I'm just like, it's funny. So I switched over. I can't do the coconut oil on my face because it just feels weird. But I've switched over to the Shea Moisture, and I've seen like a difference.
The shea butter.
Sorry, the shea butter. Yeah, for my face. But I feel like we deviated a little bit.
We did.
But it's okay.
We were talking about
tips. Yes. So what do you use? For your hair?
Yeah, so for my hair, I use the Decadence, DevaCurl Decadence, No-Poo One Condition, and then I use the Mixed Chicks for my leave-in, and that's all I use.
Okay, so the Decadence shampoo and conditioner is for people who are like 3A and up?
Correct.
And look at me.
Look at you.
I did a little bit of Googling.
Hey!
And then the Mixed Chicks leave-in. And there's only one leave-in?
There's only one leave-in.
Okay. Why the Mixed Chick? Why are you so loyal to the Mixed Chicks?
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to be loyal to the Mixed Chicks, but it is and not that I have anything against it because, but it gives me the most days out of my wash and go. That's why I like it the most.
Yeah,
as the least amount of days I have to do my hair, I want to do it those few days. And I'm sure there are other products that I can try. Like I've tried the Shea Moisture, which works great on my husband's hair. The orange one.
Yes.
I think it's like hibiscus. Maybe.
Yeah, coconut hibiscus. That's the one I use, yeah.
So he uses that one. It's really heavy. But he has kinkier hair. So he uses the sponge. I'll show you a picture. He's so cute.
Isn't it so interesting that everyone's hair is so different, obviously, but
yes,
it's just so, I loved at the curl brunch that people were asking around, like, oh, what's your favorite product? What's your favorite product? So what is your favorite product?
As far as like
anything, styling, deep conditioning,
thicker hair. You see, he's got thicker hair, so thicker product. So I don't know.
What's your go-to when you're traveling? What do you bring with you?
I actually bring the Kinky-Curly Knot Today when I'm traveling.
The Kinky-Curly Knot Today?
Yes.
What's Knot Today? Is that the leave-in?
It's a leave-in. Yep. And I bring that because I feel like if I needed to, I don't like to bring a lot of things when I travel, but I feel like if I needed to, I could co-wash with it, although it's not a co-wash. Like I could scrub my scalp with it, and then I could rinse it out, and I could put it back in and detangle with it, and then leave it. So that's why.
That's like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, you're not really supposed to use it to wash.
Right.
But if I wanted to, like, I could, like, really scrub my scalp and, like, rinse it out and then put some in and then, detangle it, and then I have curly hair.
What do you do how often do you wash your hair? Or cold wash? Cold wash or wash?
I use the Decadence. I do No-Poo.
No-Poo.
Twice a week, yeah.
So that's basically a cold wash.
It is like a co-wash.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It doesn't suds.
Okay. Twice a week.
Twice a week. Yeah. So to be honest with you, I would if my hair looked good for 2 weeks, I would not wash it. But
same.
My hair doesn't look good after like 3 or 4 days, so then I have to wash it. I only wash it because I have to.
Yeah.
Not because I really want to.
I feel like in the summertime, I have to wash my hair twice a week. And in the winter, it lasts longer, like a week.
Right.
For some odd reason. And I want to definitely get into seasons with you. So the Not Today is definitely your go-to if you're traveling. If you're like, I have to just only bring one thing with me.
That's right.
Is there a favorite of your clients, or do you use the same things for your clients?
I think my clients, I will use that Not Today on almost everybody. Seriously, like all my kids, even my own personal kids, I use the Not Today on. Usually the kids who come in, I use it on so that I don't have to put a gel. Because I think gel's cool, but like for kids to have like a real regimen it's a much. Like you're 4 years old, like just put something in your hair and go.
Right.
And then for no matter really unless they're just wavy, I won't put it in their hair. But anything past like anything level 2 and up, I'm putting some Kinky-Curl in their hair as a base.
Yeah. It's awesome. Did you put that in my hair?
Probably.
Oh,
with
nice.
and then some DevaCurl gel on top.
Oh.
I think DevaCurl gel is the best gel ever.
DevaCurl gel.
Yeah, the Archangels. All three of those gels. I think they're great gel. I don't like the way that gel makes my hair feel.
Okay.
So I don't personally use gel in my hair.
Yeah, your hair looks really soft.
It is.
What day is it right now?
What day is it? Maybe.
Like day 3?
Today's Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday. Did I have anything to do? Oh yes, I think I did my hair Friday or Saturday.
And do you always rock your wash and go?
Yes, always.
What do you do for the gym? Because I struggle when I go to the gym. Oh, so you do the what is it called?
I don't know.
Oh, you do like the thing that like picks up your hair.
Yes. So I only do that so that sweat doesn't get in my hair because I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with my workout, I take my hair out of this because the sweat from my hair. If you leave your hair like this, it'll dry. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of stuck like this.
Yeah.
So because my head is sweaty, I'll take it out like this, and then it allows it to go back in place.
I love that, and it went back in place so quickly.
It does go back in place so quickly. And if I just took the blow dryer, it would be perfect.
My hair is so temperamental that I literally have to plan my like good hair days and my gym days. Like
Totally,
I have to. Like I can't do the gym in the morning if I don't have enough time to like do my hair appropriately for work, because then I'll leave my my house looking like a wet dog because I won't have time to to diffuse. My hair doesn't look good when I diffuse it.
I get it.
So it's like different for everyone, but I'm always struggling with trying to figure out how to put it. One time I went in a straight bonnet to my gym and I looked crazy.
See, we're living in the Northeast.
Yes. See, no, I don't even care about my appearance.
Exactly.
So it's just like whatever.
Exactly.
So now that it's winter time, what are some things that you're probably seeing on your clients? What are some things that curly girls struggle with in the winter?
Dry hair.
Dry hair or dry scalp?
Dry hair. And dry scalp. Dry hair and dry scalp. Because the weather dries it out. There's no humidity. And it's just, they're dry.
But that's not the case with people who straighten their hair. When your hair is straightened in the winter, it usually like slays.
You know why?
Why is that?
Well, because there's no humidity.
Oh, yep, that's
for
true.
one. For two, all of us were always producing oil on our scalp. Mm-hmm. And so, but not as much as in the summer. And so, yeah, your hair does slay in the winter because there's no humidity. It's mostly because there's no humidity.
Ah, okay. So then,
but they probably have dry scalp.
Yeah,
because they're not putting anything on their scalp. Because if you put, like a grease or oil, then your hair's not gonna swing. It's gonna,
stay.
Yeah, it might stay.
So we're struggling with dry hair and dry scalp in the winter. So what is it? What are some things? What is our winter routine that we need to be mindful of?
Deep conditioning treatments.
Deep conditioning. Mm-hmm. Would you say that we should be deep conditioning more than once a week?
No, once a week is good.
Once a week. Mm-hmm. What do you? And I know you use a Kinky-Curl, but do you use?
Oh, for the deep conditioning, I love DevaCurl's new deep conditioning. Their melt into moisture is amazing.
Melt into moisture.
Melts into moisture. Yeah, it's a couple months old.
Oh,
they also have deep sea repair for breakage.
Ooh,
which is good if you struggle with breakage. But I really enjoy their deep sea repair. I used to use another one by another brand that I don't have here. But then when they came out with the melt into moisture, I'm like, this is perfect.
Do you do any like DIY or home remedies like coconut oil and like eggs and avocado, like all that crazy
I
stuff?
don't, but I know I have clients who do, especially the apple cider vinegar rinse. People love the apple cider vinegar rinse.
Cantu has an apple cider vinegar scalp wash that is amazing. Because I have issues with dry scalp, and so the apple cider vinegar is just like a little like applicator, and you like put it through your scalp and you scrub it and you wash it out.
Okay.
It smells pretty gross.
Is it scrubby?
It's scrub a little bit, not that much.
Okay.
But yes, the apple cider vinegar is good.
Yeah. So people talk about the apple cider vinegar and baking. Is it baking soda? I want to say it's baking soda.
People do some crazy things to their hair because there's like an Aztec clay that you put on your face, and people are now putting it on their hair. And I'm just like, I'm really simple. I just put like coconut oil or one thing that I really like in the winter is castor oil.
It's true. Castor oil is great.
Yeah, because I struggle from dryness. So for dry, we're deep conditioning once a week, but if we need it more, we could totally do twice a week. And, everyone is different, so you might want to do castor oil or coconut oil, whatever you want. Is there anything that you think we should stay away from in the wintertime? Not in terms of products, but habits for your hair for the winter?
Probably just pulling it tight. I mean, but that's year round. Because your hair is more likely to break because it's dry and it's brittle.
So all the Latinas who put their hair the tight buns all year round, that's bad because I do that.
That's bad.
Okay.
It's real bad. And especially if you're curly, what you do is you just do a wash and go like this, right? Like you see, my hair is pulled back, but there's no slickness going on.
Yeah.
And you just have to be okay with the fact that it's not slick, right? Because it's not that big of a deal. It's the same way. I don't even know if you'll understand this, but a lot of times when people go natural, no matter what their hair texture is like, allowing this part of their hair to just be is very difficult. And I know it was for me. I'm talking about the front of your hair. For the listeners.
Oh, yes. I'm looking at you like, I know what you mean.
I see it.
Yeah, no, the front of my hair is natural right now, and that, like, I have conditioner just because my hair is so dry. I put, like, a little bit of conditioner as a styler some days when I want to, like, refresh it. And so I sometimes rock it without combing it back. Right. But I struggle with years of pulling my hair back so my hairline is, like, fading on the sides, and then I have, like, not bald spots, but my hair's not thick.
Right.
So I have spots where you can see my scalp. So I think that's part of the reason why people might pull it back, too.
Is why?
Oh, because they don't want people to see, like, their bald spots, or they don't want, like, the bumps, like the curl bumps.
I see.
But you're saying that you could pull it back and...
Like, loosely.
Loosely,
yeah. So, and then you will have the curl bumps, but it's just...
That's just... I think, and that's one of the things that I think people need to... And whether you go natural, maybe you have always been natural, but always just to straighten your hair, never just rock your curly hair. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable with how it might look that day. Right?
Yeah. Like I said with the front, when I first started going, wearing my hair curly, I would do like braids, I would do twists, like just, I feel like anything to draw attention away from my forehead. Maybe the issue wasn't even my hair as much as it was my forehead. You know?
Girl, I struggle with a big forehead too.
and I got over the forehead. Now, like, it's my forehead. Like, this is the forehead I got. This is the face I have. And
I feel like I can't wait to get to the peace and the tranquility that you have, because I'm, like, still so insecure about, like, my skin and my hair being dry and, like, my forehead being big. I feel like it just, you kind of have to build yourself up to that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's who you, right? It's like, you are who you are. You're not going anywhere. And so it's like, you like me or you don't. You like to look at me or you don't. And if you don't look at me.
Have you ever thought about, like, being, like, a mentor, writing a book, like, doing something? Because I feel like you have, like, a good knack for, like, talking to people.
Thanks.
And, like, I don't know. I could see you. I'm sure that you're probably involved in your church and stuff, from what it sounds like. So, but I don't know, doing, like, a group, or I don't know, mentoring women, or maybe having a podcast or having a blog. I don't know.
Yeah, I have thought about it. I thought about all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, I really did think about writing a book recently, like, curly hair book, something with curls somehow.
Even though you have a great voice and a great presence, so I think writing a book will be awesome too, because I don't know if there's a lot of curly hair books, but I think just like the presence that you have.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to. I'd love to do more stuff.
I'm plugging it in your brain.
Yes, thank you.
Speaking it into existence.
Speak it in there.
And if God wants it to happen, then it'll happen, right?
That's right.
We deviated from the tips, but it's okay. So is there anything from transitioning from, like, the season of winter? So we're in the winter. We know that our hair is dry and stuff like that. Is there, like, a routine that we need to be transitioning our hair to, like, from fall to winter? Like, anything to make it so it doesn't feel as dry and as... I know it's a weird question, but...
And a lot of times, too, whatever products you're using, heavier products in the winter.
Should be heavier products in the winter, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, should you be using heavier stuff?
Yeah, totally. So, like, actually, it depends. It really just depends on your hair type, right? So, hair like mine needs more moisture in the winter, right? Somebody who is, like, say, a level 2, 3, right? They're going to use lighter gel in the winter because they don't need as much hold from the humidity. So, it really just depends on what your hair texture is like and what your hair needs.
And it's so funny that we're talking about winter, because I always felt like my curls, yes, they're dry, my scalp is dry, but that they thrive more in the winter. Because in the summertime, I feel like my hair is, like, I don't know, struggling from the sun, or like I'm putting product in it and it feels weird.
Feels frizzy.
Yeah.
It's frizzy.
Yeah, so what are the struggles for summertime? Frizziness.
Right. Frizziness. Totally.
Just straight up frizziness.
Yes.
Which frizz can be good if you want value.
It can. It can. Some people don't like frizz. I don't mind frizz. But yeah, you're right. It is frizziness. It's really getting product in your hair and laying down that frizz.
It's like a different level of dryness.
It is.
In the summertime because it's like, I don't know, the combination of the sun or what, I don't know what it is. The humidity,
and
obviously.
The sun does change it. So this color that's in my hair, I have not colored my hair. This is sun.
Look at that.
Sun color. Huh?
No, I said look at that. It's like almost like light brown.
Yeah, I didn't do that. And I think it was just one trip to Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach did that to you.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach did it. So yeah. Again, moisture too. You still need moisture in the summer. But not as heavy. You know, you still need moisture so that your hair won't be frizzy.
So what are you know, we've been talking for a while, and I definitely want to be mindful of your time because you have your first job to get to.
Yes.
So I want to ask you our rapid fire questions, which I ask all my guests, but
awesome.
I want to kind of talk about your grand opening of your salon. We talked a lot about kind of your goals, but what is your hope for this salon? Like the big dream that you want.
You know, like I said, I don't know if I even know what my big dream is. I just know. So the way that I work, a lot of times, I'm always setting goals, right? Getting those goals, making new goals. Do you
have a vision board?
I do. I have a few.
Ooh, okay.
I just told my husband I need to make a new one because he's like, why don't you just put your old one up? But my old was old. I need new. I have new vision.
I have new goals, right?
Yeah, new goals. So like I said, I know I want to get 4 to 5 stylists, and that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of time to build my stylist up. So that's one of my goals. And then because money isn't my number one.
Yeah.
Right? Because money isn't my priority.
Right.
Because I want to enjoy my life. It's very hard for me to say, I want like this huge salon with 20 stylists. Because I know with that comes a lot of stress.
Yep.
Why do I want to invite stress if I do this because I love it?
Right.
Right? Because if I'm moving into 20 stylists, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of managing people. That's a whole nother level. It takes it away from where I am now. Like, I enjoy this. This is cool. You know, I don't have any problems with employees at the moment.
It's almost like, why fix it if it's not broke or something?
Yeah.
Is that what? That's the saying. Okay. So it's kind of like you have vision boards, you have goals for the salon, but you're not like in a rush because you're like, it's actually really good right now. That's amazing. And but
having 4 chairs means I want to fill those.
Oh, of course. So I could tell that visually that you want this to grow because you have the space.
That's right. That's right.
And by the time this airs, your grand opening would have passed, but it's a day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm having the grand opening really because I celebrate all of my moments, my accomplishments.
Absolutely, as you should.
Yeah, and that's the real reason I'm having it, just to let people come see the place, give them some food, just to celebrate this move, because it's a big deal. Like, it really is a big deal to move a salon. I had to buy everything because where I came from, it was a suite. It was already decorated and already had furniture.
Right.
So this is all new.
And you had to put your vision to life,
I had to put
right?
my
You're like,
vision
ooh,
to
I
life.
gotta pick a color for the walls.
Yes.
I don't want this to be gross,
Exactly.
and I gotta. Did you have to pick the
my
floors? Yes, I was gonna say your floors are super pretty.
Thank you. I had to pick my floors. I had to pick, what my coffee stand was gonna go on.
And like the mirrors of the, those are so interesting. Yeah.
So I had to pick those. I had to pick the perfect mirrors, and so so it's just to invite people out and. Because I imagine it's just going to be my regular clients who are going to come here anyway. But to celebrate it and to...
I wish I could... I mean, I'll be back for my cut, and I wish I could attend, but I'll be out of town for Thanksgiving. But
that's okay.
I wish you well, Luvena, and I think this is amazing. I'm really glad that I found you.
Thank you.
I think I have high hopes for the salon, and I'm speaking it into existence that all of these chairs will be filled.
Thank you so much.
And you'll be able to take more vacations.
Yes, thank you. I need some time alone with my husband. We get very minimal.
Oh, you guys need a vacation.
We need a vacation. Tell me about a vacation.
Like, were you on vacation with your bae?
Right, that's what I thought. I just was wondering if there's anything special about it. I didn't know. Yeah, we need a vacation. We don't usually, since we got married 4 years ago, we have not spent more than one night away.
No, maybe you guys should go for your 5th year anniversary or something.
Oh, I know. I'd love that.
When is your anniversary?
8/18/18. Next year.
That's
gonna be 5 years. 8/18/18.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. The 5 years it's great.
Big deal. But yeah, you're right. That's what I like. And that's why I need my vision board because without a vision, do you have a vision board?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's why I was like, do you have one?
Yes.
I love vision boards.
And so without and I haven't, like I said, my the health of my daughter really for the past few years has consumed me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been able to keep this afloat by the grace of God, but really looking at your vision, and because you've got to keep your visions before you, right? And that's why you have the vision board. I love Oprah magazine because it's all positive. So that's what I usually use to do my vision boards is Oprah magazines.
And Oprah actually has a really good podcast called Oprah's Soulful Sundays, which is a show.
It is a show.
But then she records it, so if you don't catch the show, you could hear the audio on the podcast app. So if you're ever interested, yeah, I'll show it to you. So this has been really, really great. Where can I almost forgot. I was gonna put your plug in, but I'll ask you our questions first.
Yes.
What are you listening to right now? Like, who's an artist or a song that really has you kind of up in the morning and motivated, and you listen to it in your car?
I listen to mostly gospel music.
A little bit of Travis Green, or is he too basic?
No, he's cool.
Okay.
Travis Green is cool.
Okay.
I like him a lot.
That's the only person I know, famously. And then Molly music.
Molly music, yeah.
Okay,
I don't really know much about. My husband listens to Molly music, but yeah, I just I like worship music. That's what really keeps me at peace.
That's awesome. I love that. What are you reading right now, if anything?
Yeah, I'm always reading.
Oh,
I love
awesome.
books.
What are you reading?
Yeah, so I am reading The World's Greatest Salesman. I'm on the scrolls. I don't know if you've ever read it. It's by Og Mandino. And so it's a short book. It's a short book, but it has these 10 scrolls. And so you're supposed to read the 10 scrolls. Each scroll you're supposed to be with a month. I've been slacking on my first scroll. So the first scroll you do 3, but you have to read it 3 times a day. Once in the morning, silently. Once in the afternoon, silently. And once out loud.
So it's like not a devotional book, but something that you have to do.
Yeah, it's self-help.
Okay, self-help. I love self-help books.
But it basically tells you, you're trying to become your best self. And so in the first scroll, it tells you that you are getting rid of old habits because you want to become successful. In order to become successful, you have to have excellent habits.
Yes.
And the way that you get excellent habits is that you've got to develop new habits to subdue old habits, and that is how you get on the path to success.
I love that. So replacing the old habits for the new.
Yeah, because that's a law. The law is that you can't just get rid of a habit. You have to replace that habit. And somebody pointed out, it's like with cigarette smoking. People who smoke cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
They don't just quit. They start eating. They start chewing gum. They start spitting tobacco, whatever. But there's always a replacement. You don't just quit and then that's it. So that's one of the books that I read. And the other book I gotta tell you about that I just read was Gabrielle Union's book. We're gonna need more wine.
Okay, so is that good?
Incredible.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna get it.
Incredible.
There's a blogger that I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
Ooh, the creator of Curlbox.
Okay.
Of course you know Curlbox.
Yep.
Right. So, the creator Myleik Teal has a podcast. Clearly, I'm obsessed, and I follow her on Instagram and everything. And she was like, I finished it in a day.
It's that good.
Really?
It is that.
Okay.
Good.
I have to pick it up.
It really, really is. It is. It's like. It's great.
Were you surprised about how good it was?
No, because I love her. I think she's beautiful, and I think she's so real. And you could tell, because I don't follow many celebrities on Instagram, but I follow her, and you could just tell she is real.
Yeah.
And in her book, she's really real, and she talks about everything. I mean, she talks about forbidden things. She talks about tragedies in her life, and
I heard she was getting some backlash about something sexual that she revealed.
Yeah.
In the book.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it if
you can say it.
I don't really know. She does something sexual. I don't know what it is. Yeah. She does something sexual that she mentions in the book that people were dragging her on social media about. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They have a term for it, and I don't want to say it because it's vulgar. But
is it? Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
But it's her book. It's her life. She's actually, I think, from the book, she's become a national top bookseller.
Good for her.
But it really is a great book. Like she said, you can read it in a day. I have children, so I literally I'd be here in between clients, reading some pages because it's so good. Okay, so that's a definite must read, must have. She's amazing. She's such a cool person, and you want to be her friend after because you're she's so cool.
Oh, I love that. I'm definitely gonna pick it up because I saw it in Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
What has made you the happiest this week? Oh, it's Monday, so I guess Monday. Last week.
Let's see, what made me the happiest last week? That's a hard one.
It could be something really simple.
Yeah, it could be. It was so long ago last week.
I know.
We'll have to do today because I'm a mom, right?
Oh,
and so my mind
there's
is
every day there's something.
Yeah, so let's see. So today, what made me the happiest was shopping.
Oh yeah, you were really excited about going shopping.
I don't really like shopping. So shopping and getting what I also have done is I like to write, right? I like to read, I like to write. Awesome. And so I buy lots of journals, right? And so I'll be this journal will be for my my goals, right? And this journal will be for the things I have to do tomorrow. And so I just have these journals all over my house, right? This one here, this one there. And I have 2 on the desk. This one's going to be for this. And so my new assistant basically was she showed me her journal. And the journal is for everything. So I just had this new journal.
It's amazing.
And I decided I'm going to put my to-do lists in it. I'm going to put my party invitation list. I'm going to everything. If I feel like there's a new mantra I'm going to write it down. So I'm going to use this notebook for everything. But what made me really happy today was getting almost everything on my list done.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I love crossing things off.
Yes.
Are you an old school write a list down on paper and cross it out?
Oh yes.
What about your appointments? You have an appointment book, or you put it on your phone?
No, I put it. It's in a software.
Oh, okay, in a software. Okay. All right. No, that's good to know.
And I would be like that because I like that so much better. But in order to be organized in a business, with erasing, I know it's just not that.
I know. I've noticed with the podcast that I'm trying to schedule things, but it's I have a calendar for the podcast, I have a personal, and then I have a work, and I don't know how to mesh all them together yet. Haven't figured it out.
Right.
What is your morning routine like? So when you wake up in the morning, you want to get ready for the day. What is it that you do?
So morning routine, I get my kids up. So I get them up, get their clothes out, feed Amora. I make my husband breakfast every morning. So I make his breakfast. I feed Malachi first, make my husband breakfast, feed Amora, get Amora dressed, get her on the bus, get Malachi dressed, get myself dressed for the gym. And then...
Oh, because you're a morning gym person?
I go at 8 o'clock.
Ooh, nice.
And,
you do all that before 8 o'clock?
Listen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I get, if I don't have to work, I'll just go to the gym. If I do, I'll pack a gym bag. And then, but that's my morning.
And do you...
I try to start in prayer, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But, because I'll get up, this morning I got up at 5 o'clock to pray. And I was in my living room praying, and of course Malachi comes down the stairs. My room is off of the living room, and he opens my door and he's like, "Mom," and my husband's like, "She's not here." So he was up, then he's up, and then Amora gets up, and so then prayer time's over because I gotta take care of my kids.
So usually it's you try to squeeze in prayer. Your family is first, and then getting yourself ready. Are you a healthy eating household, or
we try?
Okay.
And I always eat too. I always eat before I leave. I have
good.
Scrambled eggs and turkey bacon for breakfast. That's what I feed my husband. Sometimes he'll have oatmeal, but Malachi has waffles.
That's awesome.
And Amora has oatmeal, and nobody else eats.
That.
But that's I try to do. I try to be healthy. But you know what they say? I've recently heard is that you eat if you want to if you want to eat crappy, if that's what you want to say. A lot of carbs. You want to eat as much carbs in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm you guys do a big breakfast and stuff because it's good to have something big in the morning.
Yeah, lately I've been adding in toast with jelly.
Ooh, that's good. That's awesome. What about at night when you've had a long day, everyone's asleep and stuff like that? That's kind of sort of your you time, or maybe you and your husband time. What do you do to turn down and get ready for bed?
I just go to sleep.
Really?
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
I just go to sleep.
It's so low key.
Yes, it's crazy. I went to a conference.
You don't turn off your phone and wash your face?
No. So I brush my teeth every single night.
Yeah.
I floss my teeth first and brush my teeth every night. And then I just go in my bed and go to sleep, literally. Oh, I put my phone on the charger away from my bed. And I usually...
For better sleep and stuff, right?
Yeah, because I just don't want the... I guess I'm a little nervous about the radiation, so I keep it at the end of my... So it's past my bed. And my husband, too, we both put our phones... Because we don't need them, during the night. And I don't fall asleep with my phone either.
Right.
So...
That's good.
If I find that I'm, like, falling asleep, I just take it and I put it over there. But literally, when I get in bed, that's it. I go right to sleep.
Wow.
I know.
That's amazing.
I love it. One of my friends, I went on a little retreat with her this summer. She's like, Luvena, you fall asleep so fast. I said, really? You think so? She's like, yeah, like, you got in bed and you were asleep. Like, I guess I just take it for granted because it's normal for me.
Right. Most people have to, like, literally, like, meditate, pray, write, read,
think, and then they fall asleep. No, I get in bed and I go to sleep.
You're like, good night. And I'm out.
And I am out.
Wait, that's hilarious. What do you do for, like, self-care? So I know that you go to the gym.
Yes.
So what else do you do?
That's a big one. I go to the gym. And that's it. I feel like naps are my self-care when I can get them.
Naps are nice.
Because I do have to get up so early.
Yeah.
But
what about those?
Oh, and I go out with my girlfriends. Ooh. I go out with my girlfriends often.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I usually have like a girlfriend date at least twice a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, one of my best friend, we're going out to. A few of us are going out for burgers.
Oh, good.
Last Friday night, I went out with one of my girlfriends she lives 860 area. She came down here. We went to Adriana's for Restaurant Week. So I that's what I do. That's like
going out with your friends.
Going out with my friends.
That's awesome.
Yep. Because I don't want to feel like I'm just a mom, and just a wife.
You're like, I'm a human.
I'm a human.
Right.
I have friends and I want to spend time with them, and that's important to me.
I love that, and I think people always are questioning me, like, what do you mean by self-care? I'm like, whatever you want it to mean.
Whatever you want it to mean.
It could be just like I have my morning tea and it calms me down, or I meal prep, or I go to sleep. I take naps. Going out with your friends. That's important.
Going out with my friends.
So, Luvena, where can the listeners find you?
You can find me at a lot of places. You can find me on LuvenaLeslieSalon.com. You can find me on Facebook, Luvena Leslie Salon. You can find me on Instagram, Kinky-Curly Hair Salon. I think that's it. Oh, you can call me at 203-745-4834. You can also text that phone number.
And she does respond very quickly.
Thanks.
And I'll put all this information in the show notes too.
Perfect.
So people are can find you
in case
quickly.
They missed it. Oh, you can also email me, LuvenaLeslie@gmail.com.
Look at that.
Yes.
You're always accessible.
Always accessible.
And this has been such a pleasure, Luvena, because I really just enjoy your energy, and I think people are going to really like this episode.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Than's for picking me.
Of course.
Do this podcast.
If you guys like this episode, make sure that you rate and review us, because the more reviews we get, the more visibility we get, and visibility is essential. We are on iTunes and on SoundCloud at Basic Latina Podcast. We also have an email. The email is basiclatinapodcast@gmail.com. Please email me your comments, your suggestions, or your questions. We intend to do a listener letter episode later in the season, so please send me your letters, and maybe a guest and I will answer them on the show. I would like to thank the Pod Squad for making Basic Latina Podcast sound so good. Editorial oversight is by Gabby, and my music is by Michael. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.